Quazi here. 3,000 years ago, the ancient yogis mastered the art of controlling reality. In the greatest book that was ever written, the original book that propounded the art of yoga, named the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, there is a mention of the term siddhi, the attainment of superpowers. See, once an adherent takes their yogic practice to the ultimate level of mastery, they are able to master the 8 siddhis, which are as follows. Number 1, the anima siddhi, the ability to perceive the microscopic world. Number 2, the mahima siddhi, becoming infinitely large, having the ability to see structures of the galaxies. 3, lahima siddhi, becoming weightless or lighter than air itself. Number 4, garima siddhi, the ability to become infinitely heavy and be immovable by anyone or anything. You could have the weight of a black hole and pierce the fabric of space and time itself. Next, the prapti siddhi, instantaneously travel or be anywhere at will. This siddhi removes the limitations of space, which separate 2 objects from each other. It's said that one will even be able to touch the moon with one's finger, and the limitation of distance is pretty much removed. Next, you have the prakamya siddhi, the ability to manifest desires or realize objects out of thin air. Next, you have the ishidva siddhi, the ability to create and destroy and gain lordship over creation and annihilation. And next, you have vasiddva siddhi, the ability to control all 5 elements of nature: fire, air, ether, earth, and water, and mind control such as hypnosis. The most fundamental of all yogic practices and the simplest of all is in learning how to attain mastery over the breath. See, in yoga, the breath is known as the kurma nadi. The word kurma literally translates to tortoise, an amphibious creature that can both venture on land and water. And in the Yoga Sutras 332, it is said, while practicing samayama, concentration, meditation, and samadhi, on kurma nadi, one attains stability of mind and thereby stability of body. Once you gain complete mastery over the breath, you gain complete mastery over the mind and the body. Once mastery over the mind and body is achieved, reality is yours. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to use the breath to direct your energy and create an energetic field around you that attracts circumstances and events in your reality that you would like to manifest. Let's get started. So one powerful realization I had recently was that certain times throughout the day, I would notice that with my breathing, either my left nostril will be more overactive, whereas the right will be blocked, or vice versa. The left will be blocked and the right will be more overactive. And what I started to notice was during the morning and in the evening, my right nostril was more open and the left was more blocked. And during the daytime, my left was more open and the right was more blocked. Upon deeper inspection, I started to notice that during morning and evening, I was more creative. Okay, I could tap into a deeper creative faculty, and my work, anything that required more creativity, would flow out to me easy. Whereas, during the daytime, that was quite the opposite. My attention span I just couldn't get anything creative out, and I just kept feeling like I would hit a wall with any creative effort that I had. And this led me to inspecting the breath deeper and deeper, and I went back to a yogic exercise that I used to do, where it's literally an alternate nose breathing, which allows you to get equanimous so that both mind and your heart, the mind, the left brain, and the right brain can work effectively. And what I realized was one of the goals of yoga is to open up this middle channel. In yoga, there's this understanding that the body has 72,000 different channels. They call it nadis. The word nadi literally translates to river, okay? And these 72,000 nadis or channels are conduits for energy to flow through. If your energetic body has some kind of block, your nadis aren't functioning properly. There's an energetic block somewhere. In understanding that, we have to understand that the breath itself is a nadi. It's a channel, okay? So in yoga, they call the breath the kurma nadi. And the word kurma, as I explained to you, literally translates to tortoise, which is, both on land and in water, meaning the breath can be used to both function in this material realm, but at the same time take you beyond to the spiritual, the etheric realm. So in that sense, the breath, the kurma nadi, is the tie. It ties the spiritual, the etheric body to this physical body. Without the breath, there would be no physical existence. Your body would just drop and your spirit would take off. Okay, that's That's what the belief is. So if you believe and have studied reincarnation, you'll know that when you pass from different lifetimes, you simply adopt a different body, because adopting a different body allows you to burn your karma quicker, as opposed to existing in just spirit form itself. In understanding the kurma nadi, there are also different other kinds of nadis. So when I talk to you about the right and the left channels, there are 3 types of nadis that the kurma nadi helps stabilize. This is the ida, the pingala, and the goal is to unlock the central channel, the shushumna. So the ida and pingala are the left and right channel. So when you have one more active than the other, you will always be in duality. And you'll just notice right now, if you just breathe on your hand right now, you'll notice that either your left is more overactive or your right is more overactive. So there are certain practices and exercises that allow you to get it more even, which allows you to tap more into that central channel, the shushumna nadi. Okay? And the belief here is that once the shushumna nadi is tapped into, it allows for the energy, the kundalini, to rise. However, for our purposes, I'm going to share with you an exercise that allows you to draw energy and magnetize the spinal column. This is an exercise that I've been using for the last 6 to 7 years with great success. And I've found that not only have my energy levels gone up, but also my intention energy. I've been able to tap into more intention energy. And what I mean by that is when I think about things and I make intentions, the time delay between what I intend and the manifestation of that intent gets shorter and shorter as my energy level is higher. And the other thing I've noticed too, knock on wood, is that I've gotten less and less sick. Because my energy is flowing very, very well, there's no blockage within the body, I feel lighter. I have a lot more cognitive ability, higher ability to use my brain and my intelligence to be able to come up with great video stuff, operate on business, and just go deeper spiritually. So you'll notice all of these benefits when you properly use this exercise and use it for a prolonged period of time. But also, I believe the main highlight of it is that your ability to bring your goals into fruition, the time delay between you intending and you actually doing that will get shorter and shorter. So I'm going to show you that exercise in just a bit, but to properly understand that, we have to understand 2 main things, which is the correct way of breathing versus the incorrect way of breathing. So when I go around and I look at people, the very first time I noticed this was my wife, then girlfriend. She was breathing, and I would notice that when she was sleeping, her chest would heave up and down. Whereas I had a newborn cousin in the family at that time, and she was a baby, and when I looked at her, and she was breathing, her stomach was heaving up and down. And when I inquired further, I was like, what's going on here? It's like, kids already know how to properly breathe. They have the perfect squat form, perfect flexibility, but then it becomes more and more rigid as we grow up, and we start to pick up different tendencies that don't quite serve us. So I noticed that my breathing used to be very shallow. You go around, you look at people, they're always closed off. They're trying to protect themselves against something. They're always, the abs are always tense. They're always, every single muscle in the body, they're unconsciously carrying around tension. This causes your energy body to malfunction and energy to get stuck somewhere within your body. Okay, so if you're feeling something you don't want to feel, it's because energy isn't flowing somewhere. If you're experiencing something in your life that you do not want to experience, it's because your energy body there's a blockage somewhere within these nadis, okay? So learning how to properly circulate the breath will allow you to unstuck yourself, unblock yourself, but also direct it into different areas, direct this energy to different areas of your life. Therefore, the correct way to breathe is what's known as diaphragmatic breathing. So if you just follow my instruction right now, just drop whatever you're doing, put one of your hands on your belly and the other one behind you in the round of your back. And take a breath and just press against your abdomen. You're going to feel it's really uncomfortable to puff up your stomach like that. You're almost feeling like you're puffing up your stomach as you breathe in. So this is how most people breathe. They breathe like, right? Whereas people who experience a lot less stress, a lot less anxiety in their lives, they breathe like this. One of my old mentors used to say, it's almost like you're breathing into your balls. Okay, so you breathe really, really deeply, and you'll notice that this versus, there's a huge difference. Okay, so once you start to breathe more and more like this, you become more and more conscious. You'll literally, just by doing this one practice alone, you'll see that the quality of your life will completely change. You'll experience less stress, you'll experience less unwanted situations happening, you'll find that you'll have more control over your faculties. just simply because you're breathing deeper and deeper. In yoga, it's very well known that one of the practices, it leads you to seizing the breath, taking less and less breaths. So it's said that if you breathe a certain amount of breaths and you can really slow down your breath, you can start to communicate with animals, with plants, and literally just go beyond life, okay? And this act is called kumbhaka, which means you simply cease to breathe. You take a couple of breaths per minute. So right now, and I could completely botch this, human beings breathe around 14 to 18 breaths per minute. If you can get that down more and more, and again, this isn't forcefully doing it, it's more so it will naturally happen as you learn to breathe correctly. Your resting breath will lower, your resting heart rate will lower, and you'll open yourself up to more and more of the higher frequencies to receive them, okay? Because your experience of life right now, if your breathing is very erratic, your heart rate is very high, your life will also be very chaotic and erratic, and you won't be calm. If you notice people who are more in higher vibration energy, they're not in a rush. Do you find yourself in a rush? You're always in a rush to do something, to get somewhere, and you're always like, life is always passing you by, you're just grasping to capture it. That's typically what happens when your energy body is malfunctioning, okay? Or you have the opposite problem and you just can't keep up. You just feel like you're too slow, right? And typically when you feel like you're too slow, you're rushing. So it's the dual problem within one. Anyway, in understanding the correct and incorrect way of breathing, now that you know how to breathe from the diaphragm, the other crucial element to this is learning how to have a proper posture. So for most people, what do? They're slumped over because our modern furniture is designed in a way where it kind of slumps us. When we sit in front of a desk and we do a desk job, it puts a lot of strain on the back of our neck and also our shoulders. So we trap a lot of emotions and energy right over there. To correct your posture, it depends how, I don't like to say this, but how far gone you are, but it depends really like how much damage has been done so far. If the extent to spinal damage is very high, you might need to consult an expert. But for most people, if you simply make a conscious effort to stand up straighter by doing this following exercise. What I want you to do is raise your arms up right now, all the way up like you're touching the ceiling, put it to the side and put it down. When you do that, now you'll notice that your spinal position, it's a lot more erect, okay? And even when you're sitting down, try to maintain that position or your spine is more erect. I feel myself standing up straighter now. So I forget to do this sometimes. So what happens is now that our spinal column is more erect and our breathing is correct, we're breathing into the stomach. These are both exercises, by the way, that I learned through music lessons. So for a lot of you who are singers, you understand this because diaphragmatic breathing is very important for singing because you want to properly not push the air out, but let it come up. So diaphragmatic breathing and correct posture is very, very important for singing and also for yoga, for transcending this material realm to influencing what you want to see and creating your own destiny, apparently. Now that you have the posture and the diaphragmatic breathing correct, we are ready to tackle magnetizing the spinal column. So what I want you to do right now is put aside all distractions. We're going to learn how to move energy within our system. And I promise you, do this for a period of time, your life won't be the same. So let's get right to that right now. So the goal with magnetizing the spinal column is, there's a reason why I call it magnetizing the spinal column. It's because if you have a wire, an electrical, let's say a metal wire, and you run a current through it, the running of current through it creates a magnetic field around it, an attractive magnetic field. Not magnetic, any field is attractive and repulsive, but you get the idea. You create a field around it. So our spinal column is like that. So the spinal column, when energy is flowing through it, aka current is flowing through it, we magnetize it. That's what we want to do, okay? So if you look at this diagram here, we want to basically circulate prana, life force, as the yogis would call it, through our spinal column, okay? And that'll be from the tailbone, the coccyx, to the crown, the Sahasrara chakra, as the yogis would call it. But what you'll notice is I've drawn two lines here. And so how this works is there are different energy channels within your body, the energy meridians. There's one a few inches in front of your spine. And again, if you open up your body, you would never be able to see this. This is more of a field. And also one slightly an inch behind your spine, okay? In front of your spine and behind your spine. And so we want to move energy up and down like an alternating current. So the other reason to do this is when we circulate our life energy properly, we tap into this vast source of energy around us called free energy, okay? Right now we're slightly disconnected from it, and you'll know you're disconnected from it because you're experiencing things that you don't like, aka feelings, emotions, circumstances externally, which are a result of your thoughts and emotions that you're holding to be true. And also, you just feel blocked, okay? To unblock yourself, to get a healthier energy body, we just have to make sure that our energy body is functioning properly and the channels are. And two of the fundamental channels are these ones, okay? So the process is very simple. It's 3 steps. So what I want you to do right now is just stand up. Stand up and relax yourself. Just get your body loose. Get your spine straight and imagine and feel that you're breathing into your diaphragm. Take a deep breath into your diaphragm. Breathe out through your mouth and push the diaphragm. The very first step that we're going to do now, that you're prepared, is you're going to imagine that through these 2 channels, there's an alternating flow of energy, okay? Alternating flow. And the flow goes one way on the inhale, and the other way it alternates on the exhale. So it's coordinated with inhalation and exhalation. And what we're going to do, I'm just listing out the steps right now, we're going to do this together, okay? We're going to do this 10 times just to get a feel for it, and then we're going to implement it throughout a day. It's going to be very simple for you to grasp. You are already connected to this source, okay? It's atrophied because you haven't used it. So in these 2 spinal columns, I want you to imagine that when I take an in-breath, let's say from the back, I feel from the back spinal column energy is rising, and from the front of that meridian, energy is descending. So it's kind of like I'm drawing energy from the heavens. It's coming in through the crown and moving down from the front and down through me to Mother Earth, okay? And the opposite on the meridian that's behind the spinal column. So just mentally imagine this flow of energy. And let's do this 10 times. Take a deep breath. Exhale, alternate. Deep breath. Exhale, alternate. So just like that, coming down from the top on the inhale, coming up from the back on the inhale, and then alternate on the exhale. So it doesn't matter what order you do it in. The important part is you notice that this energy is flowing within you at all times. You're connected to both the earth and to the heavens. Okay? That's the crucial part. So I used to have an energetic coach who taught me this exercise, and it completely changed my life. So let's try it one more time. 10 times with me. Feel it getting stronger and stronger every time. More and more intense. What you're going to notice now is you're going to feel lighter, okay? And yes, part of this is to do with the lightheadedness you feel when you take deep breaths really fast. But another part of it is to do with you just properly having energy circulating through your body. So what I want you to do right now is take this exercise and turn it into a dynamic living practice. And what I mean by that is every single day you're sitting somewhere at the coffee shop or you're at work on your computer, you just momentarily remember that this is what's happening every time you take an in-breath, every time you take an out-breath. Is your diaphragm correct? Is your posture correct? These are very, very crucial. Okay, this is how you make a real change in your life, by working from inside out. If you want to see the outside change, the inside has to change first. If you're constantly in a state of frenzy, you're bogged down by something happening outside, you're unconscious, you're falling asleep, you are in a habit of falling asleep rather than in a habit of waking up. This is why. Your energy levels are low, you feel apathetic, you don't feel any energy to do anything, or you're frustrated, you're stressed out, your business, your work is stressing you out. This is why. Energy isn't properly flowing, it's somewhere blocked. And this exercise is going to greatly help that But more than that, what you'll notice is as you do this exercise, you tap into more vast sources of free energy, your intention energy begins to rise. And whenever you make an intention, it materializes faster and faster. So do this in daily life. And when you combine this with visualization, it just goes on steroids. It just becomes very, very powerful. So when you combine the act of visualization in the act of manifesting your goals, as you have already increased, this is more like training wheels to, like you go to the gym to build bigger muscles. You're building the internal visualization manifestation muscles by circulating energy properly. So what I would like for you to do right now is check this companion video on visualization that's going to show you a complete protocol for visualization. As you keep doing this for the next month, 3 months, a year, I would really like for this to be a permanent practice for you. Just realizing that every time I'm taking a breath, this is what's happening. Every time I'm exhaling, this is what's happening. There's always energy flowing through those 2 meridians, through those 2 spinal channels, okay? So click here right now to watch this comprehensive visualization video that I made. And what you'll notice there is I talk about 2 different types of visualization. The goal visualization, which allows you to get clarity on the path that will lead you there, and the process visualization, which allows you to tread the path faster and get there quicker, okay? So completely free for you. It's on YouTube. I actually made a full comprehensive guide, a visualization guide in there too. It's a PDF that I attached in the comments section. So click here, go to it. I believe over 500,000 have watched it right now. And I'll see you in this next video right now.